Previously on this channel, you joined me on the Celebrity Reflection as we approached the island of Cozumel, where I highlighted the coordination it takes to get a massive ship to dock in open water. I then took a cab to the beach and then did a little bit of shopping before heading back to the ship to examine the process of leaving the dock so that we can get ready for today, a full day at sea. There goes Cuba again as we head northeast along the island nation's western shore. It's a full sea day today, and I finally have some time to explore the inside of the Celebrity Reflection, and it starts off with breakfast in the buffet, followed by a walk to the ship's grand foyer, sort of the central meeting area of the ship that's on several levels. On a sea day during the day, it's rather quiet. This cutaway helps vacationers know where they are on the deck, and it helps you to locate things on other decks. Like all ships, the Reflection is equipped with a full-service fitness center that covers a lot of area, allowing you to keep in shape after eating those big cruise ship meals. I've got a natural curiosity for being situationally aware, so I took a quick break to check the TV monitor in my room to see where we are. We're really close to Cuba and approaching its capital, Havana. I'm going to keep that in mind and be on the lookout for that. That should be very interesting if we can see it. Back inside the ship, I went for an obligatory ride in the glass elevators, a common feature on many cruise ships. The elevator took me down to more public areas. I started off at this sitting area, which was adorned with yellow chairs. What's nice about this area is that the space is very open and looks down to the level below called Shops on the Boulevard, a mini mall at sea. There sure is a lot of shopping that you can be doing on the Celebrity Reflection. There's plenty of time for you to do it too, as the shops are open with very long hours and there's nowhere else to go. If you want to be entertained, then the place to be is the Reflection Theater, which spans the height of 3 decks. It seats over 1,000 and features seating on multiple levels. It plays host to large-scale musical productions and smaller acts as well. At the time of my visit, the captain was giving a talk. Just after that, I took a quick look at the sea from the outdoor promenade on Deck 5. It's nice to be close to the water to gauge your speed. Back inside, I found an interesting piece of artwork that was being auctioned. I didn't really fancy that item, so I took the time to do some more shopping on board. But I'm keeping in mind that outside we're approaching Havana, and I want a view of it, so I took an elevator up. And once I looked outside, at just 14,000 feet was a fly-to-sky Airbus A320 leased to World Atlantic Airways descending into Havana from Miami. We're undoubtedly near Havana, and I can't see it from my cabin on the port side, so I immediately found a spot on the starboard side, and sure enough, I was able to see the tall buildings of Havana, Cuba. We're much closer to the island than we were when leaving Miami earlier in the week, and I couldn't be happier to see this. And we're not the only ship within eyesight of Cuba. This is a White Star asphalt bitumen tanker from New Orleans. And after having seen that A320 descended to Havana earlier, here it is on its way back to Miami as I enjoy the very large window that provides protection for people enjoying the pool here on an upper deck. Out there is the Marshall Island registered Sofiana cargo ship en route from Rio de Janeiro to New Orleans. I could be enjoying this live music performance or having a drink in this beautiful lounge, but there's so much happening outside that's distracting me, like this bulk carrier going from San Juan to New Orleans. We're making our way north, and we just crossed the Tropic of Cancer. And so did this ship, the Havana Daisy, a Maltese chemical tanker from Montreal to Port Arthur in Texas. That ship came really close to the ship behind it, and it looks like we did some maneuvering too to steer clear. I spent so much of the day at sea loving what I could see from the ship, and dinner time is approaching, so I went down to a bar to wait for dinner time once again at the Opus restaurant. After dinner, it was back to the TV screen to check our position and heading as we work our way to Bimini, which is just about 50 miles east of Miami. By the time I woke up, our thrusters were already moving us toward the dock at Bimini. Like Cozumel, which was featured in my last video, we're docking once again in open waters, so we're subject to sea conditions and wind, but today is a good day for docking a massive ship like this. And, just like we saw in previous ports, the bridge crew is gathered on this side of the ship, paying close attention to the position of the dock relative to the ship as we slowly move closer and closer to the dock. And, just like in the previous port of call, ground crew teams are positioning themselves at the correct places to accept the lead lines that lead to the actual lines so that they can be secured to the cleats to keep us in position at the dock. Since we're near the bow and we backed in today, we're at the far end of the dock, so these are the lines that are for the bow area of the ship. This part of the dock is off limits to passengers. Once fully docked, a beautiful private azimuth decided to come close to the ship for a better view, or perhaps to give cruisers a view of them. Here we are looking at the Bailey Town part of North Bimini. Welcome to Bimini. That's the path we'll be taking once we disembark from the ship. It looks like a beautiful day today. Back on the TV, I'm verifying that we're stationary at Bimini. It's now time to leave the ship, and I'm working my way through the ship's public areas down to the gangway level, which is the way I'll be able to exit the ship today. Once off the ship, I was alas on the dock that I had seen from above, and once again, I got to see the ship from a close-up perspective. This port afforded some of the best views of the ship that I've seen. But I'm not staying at the dock. I'm boarding a shuttle to take me to the beach at Resorts World. An open-air vehicle with passengers from the Celebrity Reflection took us a very short distance to the north to the beach. This is an excursion that I booked directly with the cruise ship. It's a simple excursion that anyone can enjoy on this, our very last full day of the cruise. Upon arrival, I headed right for the water. This is an extremely well-organized place with plenty of beach chairs and lots of room for bathing in the warm waters. The beach faces the USA, and Florida is actually really close to here, but it seems like it's worlds away. Just steps away from the beach is an expansive pool area that's a perfect fit for kids and adults. This is a lively area, but it feels calming at the same time. My specific excursion included lunch, and a special area was set up just for passengers of the Celebrity Reflection, which was the only ship there. It sure was not overcrowded. The vistas were really beautiful here, and I always kept an eye out for other modes of transportation. This ferry offers service to Fort Lauderdale for those who want to come to the island without having to book an entire cruise. And you can arrive from Fort Lauderdale to Bimini by plane too. This Silver Airways ATR is on approach to the South Bimini Airport. That's a really short flight. Bimini was definitely a highlight of the cruise and a perfect place to spend the last day. It was very well organized and everything felt well controlled. It was my third island in the Bahamas I ever visited, and the island definitely had a laid-back atmosphere to it. But before I knew it, all aboard time was approaching, so I had to work my way back to the dock. The ride back took us past some homes and a casino on the island. We passed by the main mode of transportation here, buggies, and swiftly arrived at the cruise ship dock. This time around, one of the high-speed ferries for Fort Lauderdale was docked here, and it was very exciting to get close to it and see its very unique design. It's now time for the last good view of the Celebrity Reflection. When we dock tomorrow morning in Fort Lauderdale, I won't be able to see it like this due to the presence of the terminal building. Back on board, I took in some views of the dock that I had just been standing on and gazed at the island from the ship. Bimini is composed of several other islands too, and it's home to around 2,400 people. There's more passengers on this ship than all of the Bimini Islands. From this side of the ship, you can see the markers that we'll have to remain inside of when we move out of the dock. We'll leave soon, and just before departure time, I decided to walk around the upper outdoor levels of the ship. There's a lot of open space up here, and it's always refreshing after a day at a port of call to be high up and outdoors. I was enjoying the view and I noticed that the pilot boat was approaching, which means that we'll be leaving soon, so I went to look at the lines being removed. From the bow, we can see the markers on both sides of the exit channel. And down below, Bahamian crew members are standing by, waiting for the tension to be released from the ship crew so that they can take the lines off the cleats. It's happening very quickly today, and our thrusters are moving us away from the dock so that we can be lined up in the channel and head out to the open waters toward the United States of America. With a local maritime pilot on board who knows the water very well, we move precisely. Once we're safely out in open water, the onboard pilot is retrieved, and I headed over to the Opus restaurant for a final send-off party dinner this evening. After dinner, I took a nice stroll throughout the cruise ship on this final night of the cruise. I'm headed to my cabin for my very last look at the map on the TV screen, which shows that we are between Bimini and Fort Lauderdale. It's a really short run, and we're moving very slowly for an early morning arrival to Port Everglades. By the time I woke up, we were already docked in Fort Lauderdale. We got in so early that I missed the arrival procedure through the channel. We're docked at a different dock from which we left from, but this makes me happy since it's further south and closer to the departure path of flights leaving the Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport. This was a great cruise, and I hope you learned a lot, but it's time to bring this channel back to aviation. I enjoyed taking some time to show you other forms of travel, but I can't wait to bring you to the skies once again in my fully narrated, detail-oriented flight videos. See you all in the sky, and thank you all so much for joining me.